Can you talk about how you're choosing where exactly you place your cameras and the difference between how you place the cell cams versus the regular cameras?
Yeah. So when I first start out on a property, I'm looking more for inventory. So this we're talking like July and August. I usually start running cameras typically around July 1st, and I'll just go and put them out. Like in July, I'm looking at inventory, so I'm just trying to gather like what might be in the block or what might be staying on the property. So I'm looking at apple trees are a big one. Any kind of water source, especially something that I can get to that's not super intrusive. You don't want to be walking, for example, if you got a 40-acre piece that you can hunt in the waters in the center of it. You don't want to be walking in there checking that trail camera in the center of the property. But soybean fields, alfalfa fields, up in the hills, if you got crops on top and there's points, usually those points are really good areas to put cameras. Those big bucks and other deer like to come up those points, and that's how they work out into the fields. Um, just other, trying to think of other.
That's kind of the same logic I have with that whole you don't care if it's a night or a day picture. You just want to know the deer exist that you want to go
Yep.
after.
Yep. And then once, so we gather all this intel, and I might have a pattern based off of that stuff to hunt early. And we're talking in Wisconsin, we open up, around September 15th, give or take a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And you might have some intel, some current intel on that food source or something like that you can actually make a play on for one of those right out the gate bucks. And I've killed a couple doing that. But mostly I'm just gathering intel on those food sources and water sources in the beginning. And then come the transition period, which is usually around the end of October, these bucks start locating into areas that they're going to kind of pre-rut in. And that's when I'll kind of move these cell cameras into more obtrusive areas. I do run rope scrapes, which I think I talked about a little bit on the beast, and I killed a really nice wide 145-inch deer on one of those right off the scrape. I mean, he worked it, and then he walked by at 15 yards, and I hard punched him, right after he got done working one of these scrapes. But the thing about those, the tricky thing about them is the location that you put them in. You got to kind of understand, like primary bedding areas where these big bucks feel comfortable moving around at that time of year. Like in that, I don't know, like if you start getting cold weather around the 10th of October, these bucks start really working scrapes, and they're traveling real close circles within their core areas looking, they're just kind of checking out all the deer. They're getting antsy. And then things really heat up at the end of October. My absolute favorite days to hunt are like October 22nd through the 31st. And the reason for that is the deer that I've located, I know where he's going to be during that time frame. I know that he'll be in that core area before he goes crazy and starts running God knows where. So if I don't have a buck killed by October 31st, I start to get a little bit worried, because then I'm hunting roaming bucks, which
Yeah. So in western Wisconsin, I've always noticed that like the last 2 weeks of October are the freaking hot time to kill a target deer there, and after that it kind of gets just crazy, right? And pressure wise, but when you get out of state, you go down to Indiana by Josh and stuff, it seems like it's the first 2 weeks of November. It's just there's a different thing going on over there where it just seems like October is the time frame.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
I don't know why that is, but I agree with you 100%. Like if you said you can pick any days to hunt the properties that I'm currently hunting, it's late October.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'm more public than you, so I'm actually preferring to go in there like sometime around the 15th to 20th, because there's nobody hunting, because all the people that hunt there seem to travel there, and then they come in for the rut, so they might be there earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
But they saved their time frame for coming for a week for rut, so nobody's there the week before, and it seems like they're very rutting active.
Yep. Yeah, it's those last couple of days in October, if you get a cold front, can be just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, like some of the key weather patterns that I'm looking for is any kind of and you'll hear other guys talk about this if you watch anything online with like Bill Winke and the Drury's and any of them, or on the Beast forums. Like, I'm really trying to key in on any kind of front that's going to drop the temperature, and you can either hunt before it or after it hits, and then after it. And usually those are some really good deer movement periods during that time. So if I'm working and I see a big cold front coming that's going to drop, say we're in the 70s in September and we're late September, and all of a sudden we're going to have this cold front push in and it's going to be a high of like low 50s, I'll trade, beg, borrow, whatever I can do to get out and get in a tree during that time frame.